know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
And we are live. Greetings to our loyal WFYL listeners around the world. Welcome back to your Philadelphia live stream, only on the Freedom Station. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in once again, because you still have the right to hear and the right to be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike G. As always with me are welcome back Philly Chris, Russ the producer, and Liberty Lee. And you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters. And you can listen to this program every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So let's be heard. I want to remind our listeners that you can participate in the free and open exchange of thoughts and ideas throughout the entire week by visiting us at MikeGinTheMorning.com. What's it called, Philly Chris?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
How about you, Russ?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
Liberty, you there?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
So check out all of our videos, all the ruckus that Mike G and Philly Chris and sometimes Russ the producer get up to. You can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Posted some interesting memes these last few days. Check them out. Excellent cartoons by our pal CB. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your barber, tell your Uncle Jerry, tell anybody to listen to check us out at MikeGinTheMorning.com. I also want to remind our listeners about the Powerhouse lineup. We've Adams Show weekdays from 9 a.m. until 11. We've got the Kinetic Faith, featuring Rick Crump, friend of the Mike G in the Morning program, preaching values, service, and order, coming at you weekdays at 11 a.m. We've got the one, the only Dan the Man Bongino, bringing you the Dan Bongino Show, weekdays at noon. We've got the headliner, intellectual giant Ben Shapiro, bringing you the Ben Shapiro Show, weekdays at 3 p.m. And finally, a welcomed addition to the Freedom Station family. We've got Michael Knowles, bringing you the Michael Knowles Show, weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. So don't forget to tune in and show them some love. And with that, you know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hit it, Russ.
You know what time it is.
You know, I don't know if we emphasize enough how much content we've got if you tune in through MikeGinTheMorning.com and check out our social media platforms, particularly the videos that we post out there. And this live stream in and of itself, you know, we have roughly 100,000 people listening over the airwaves every Friday morning. And many of them may not be aware that they can see our faces if they check out our live stream visiting MikeGinTheMorning.com, and they could even check us out live, join in on the action. It is unfettered, it is unlimited, it is unfiltered, and it's 3 hours long typically. It's certainly not confined. Let us know if you can check us out, if you're still there. I want to thank all of our loyal listeners who have stuck with us through these technical difficulties. And I'm sure Russell will cut all of this out of the live program tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I want to thank everybody here. We sort of have to ask for your feedback to determine whether this is working right now and whether you can hear us. So if you're able to hear us, if you're able to see us, give us a hey now. You know, we're always giving everybody else a hey now, Billy Chris. Nobody ever gives us a hey now.
Hey
if you're still with us, go over to the comments and give me a hey now. Give me a hey now.
Throw it right in there. Little hey now.
Billy Chris,
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? Can you give me a hey now?
Hey now.
Russ, give me a hey now.
Hey now, Mike. Hey now.
Okay, all right. So let's pick up. Where did we leave off? We'll just start off with the conversation at the outset. Everybody, I love my listeners. They were all still here. Everybody's checking it out. CB gave us a hey now. CB
All right.
gave us a hey now.
Thank you, CB.
I love CB's cartoons. And we got Brown over there giving us a hey now.
Hey now.
DG says, welcome back, Chris. And thank God you're growing back the fur.
Oh, my goodness.
Randy gave us a hey now. He's stuck around. I do want to give a very special thanks to one of our loyal listeners, DG. I was delivered a package, and this memento that I'm wearing around my neck, it is a pendant of St. Michael with a sword standing on a dragon's throat. I think it's very fitting for my profession because I am constantly fighting evil day in, day out in the court of law. I appreciate it very much. This is very special to me, and I will be wearing it when I go to battle in the courtroom to step on the dragon's neck. What do you think about that, Billy Grace?
I think that's absolutely fantastic.
When I enter my appearance on the record, Your Honor, Michael Antonio Giramita Jr., Giramita Law Offices, Delaware County, and I'm here to step on the dragon's throat, Your Honor.
Just pull it right out. Run up to the bench. Can you approach the bench with that, maybe?
Your Honor, may I approach? Take a look at this. This is a warning of what's to come. I'm about to step on the dragon's neck. That prosecutor is a very evil man.
Evil man.
Trying to prosecute my client.
Right.
Nothing
see what
wrong.
I got here? Can you hold it up to the camera more? Are you able to take it on and off easy?
I can't take it. I can't take it off.
Oh, no problem.
It's on permanent. It's permanently affixed around my neck.
Good, good. All right.
I will never be able to take it off unless it is surgically removed. So it's a permanent part of Mike G.
Very nice.
That is the end of that.
Very thoughtful.
Len says I have that tattoo on my forearm, so he's got it permanently affixed as well. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
That's fantastic.
St. Michael the Archangel. It can be used as a legal weapon in New York and New Jersey. Don't give them any ideas, DG. New York and New Jersey will ban this thing instantly.
Yeah, right.
If you say that, it will become one. Do we know about how slingshots became illegal in New Jersey? Have we ever spoken about that on this program?
Well,
I don't
those
know
are
that we
basically
have.
machine guns.
I'm aware of that, but
this
I
is
don't
how
think
we'll
you've
test
mentioned
it.
it. Yeah.
I know you're aware of it.
Yeah.
Liberty or Russ, do either one of you remember why slingshots are illegal in New Jersey?
Well, a slingshot is obviously a machine gun.
Okay. Incorrect, but very good. That's a very educated guess.
Guys, it's practically a nuke. Come on. A slingshot is a nuke.
Pretty much.
How about Liberty? Do you know why?
You can shoot your eye out.
You can shoot your eye out. Another educated guess.
Yeah.
Good guess. But that is not the case.
Okay.
What I have to do is I have to give credit to Evan Nappen before I tell this story because I wouldn't know about this without him. The great and powerful Evan Nappen.
Yes, Evan Nappen.
And basically what happened? It's a felony crime of the 4th degree to possess a slingshot in New Jersey. I don't think many people realize that.
No.
But the simple act of possessing a slingshot in New Jersey can make you a felon, carries up to 18 months in state prison, and you'd become a person not to possess firearms under federal law throughout the entire United States for life. So even if you do probation, even if you get house arrest, even if you don't spend more than 1 year in prison under federal law, if you're convicted of any felony that carries a max possible sentence of over 1 year or any misdemeanor that carries a max possible sentence of over how long, Philly Chris?
1 year, did you say?
2 years. 2 years.
2
So
years,
misdemeanor,
2 years, okay.
misdemeanor over 2 years, felony over 1 year. You're prohibited from possessing firearms throughout the entire United States for life. Doesn't matter what you actually served. Matters the most the judge could have possibly given you. And this crime of the 4th degree in New Jersey carries a max possible sentence of 18 months in state prison, and it's considered a felony for these purposes. So do not possess a slingshot in New Jersey. But here's the story about how it happened. When they were recodifying the crimes code in New Jersey, they were looking through everything, and they realized that one of the prohibited weapons was a slingshot. It said slingshot. Now, there is such thing as a slingshot. Are you familiar with this weapon, Philly Chris?
Isn't that the one you twirl over your head and like release kind of thing, like that from ancient times? Like Goliath.
Well, sure. Some people carry them in modern times. Basically, what it is, they call it a monkey's fist sometimes.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
It's like a steel ball wrapped in a piece of leather with a string, but you're correct. You swing it around and you bop somebody over the head with it.
You could do
And
the
so
same thing with a
slingshots,
sock and butter.
That particular weapon, a slingshot,
Uh-huh.
was illegal in New Jersey when they were recodifying the
So
crime.
your new necklace is also a felony, you're saying?
It's a slung. It is not a slung. Well, listen to this. So when
Right.
they're recodifying the crimes code, they're looking
Mhm.
through, and somebody notices, wait, slingshot. This must be a typo, and changed it to slingshot.
That's so New Jersey.
So because they thought it was a typo, they
Right.
changed it to slingshot, and slingshots became illegal. But slingshots
slingshots
are
okay?
legal. Yeah, they are
They're
okay.
okay.
now. Slingshots are legal. Slingshots not legal.
Not so much.
Slingshot legal. That's how slingshots became illegal.
So the
in
folks
New
doing the clerical work, typing up the laws, are making the laws now, you're saying, basically.
Very strange.
Randy says Uncle Sniffy is on live, probably trying to blame others besides himself. Oh, that's par for the course there, right?
Yeah,
It's
pretty much.
awfully convenient that all of the issues that we've seen throughout this presidency, including high gas prices, which are absolutely out of control right now, including problems with the production of certain goods and items, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And distribution, supply chain, have been severely in trouble
Yeah.
throughout this entire presidency. What else have we had going on? The stock market in some serious trouble, right?
Mhm.
The economy having difficulties.
Yeah.
But now all of the blame for each and every one of these is being put on.
Oh, yeah, it's the Putin gas tax hike, right?
Right,
Mm.
right. That's becoming very common.
I
Apparently,
blame
Putin has more
gas.
control over our economy and gas prices than our own president.
Well, wouldn't that be scary? Wouldn't that be?
That's what he's saying.
Is that any
basically.
better?
Yeah, right? I mean, yeah, maybe. That's kind of what he's saying.
Is that any better? So when they shift the blame like that,
Yeah,
to say that he can't possibly do anything about that,
sure.
then
Well, it's going to be
that's
transitory.
almost more scary than the truth, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
If you
pretty
really
much.
think about it.
It'll be transitory anyway.
Because the truth is that this is all of these things have been issues for a long time, and now we have a scapegoat, regardless of how you feel about what's going on over there.
Right.
To say that this was all caused by that, well, no, maybe it may have exacerbated certain things.
Yeah. I mean,
But
shutting down the
these have
Keystone
all
pipeline
been
didn't really
issues.
do anything.
Gas was doing so well before this all started, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
they had the crystal ball and they knew this was coming. So they started to inflate the gas prices and screw up the supply chain preemptively. All right.
Sure.
They said, we gotta prepare for this conflict over with the Ukraine. So
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that a lot of people do say the Ukraine, but it really is just Ukraine, right?
I say Ukraine. I don't
Is it
think
Ukraine
it's
or
Ukraine.
have you heard of the Ukraine? Have you heard people saying
I don't
that?
know. I don't know if I picked up on that. Maybe I just haven't
Sounds
noticed
like
it
a
yet.
poll to me.
Yeah,
Right?
let's check it
Let's
out, well,
poll
ladies and
the
gentlemen,
audience.
on the
If
Mike
you're
G in the morning.
following along at
Man.
home, listening on the radio, do you call it Ukraine or the Ukraine?
The Ukraine.
How about
you-
let's poll Russ the producer? Russ the producer, what do you call it?
I don't call it anything. It's kind of inconsequential, kind
Don't
of like
call it
how people call Google the Google or the YouTube.
You don't hear people saying like the Russia.
We should start though.
Yeah, maybe.
Or Russ.
Canada.
The Canada.
The Canada.
But it is the United States of America,
That's
right?
true. Yeah. That's appropriate.
The
Makes
United
sense.
States of America.
Is it a grammar thing or is it more of a
I think
Proper noun
because
thing.
it's talking about
Proper noun.
more than
I
one.
love that.
like what is it that's causing people to say that?
Maybe that'll be the next poll. Is it a grammar thing or a proper noun thing?
Right.
Grammar
There-
thing. Option A,
there, or
grammar
there.
thing. Option B, proper noun thing. Option C, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. Nothing else makes sense these days, so might as well have problems with this too. Sure. Why not? Not like everything's by design or anything.
Dave Crespin says, at least there are no mean tweets, right?
Right.
It's all
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Guys, that
Oh,
was
it
totally
is that.
worth it. I always wanted to pay $5 a gallon for no mean tweets.
Yeah, sure.
But depending on who you spend time with and who you speak with,
Hmm.
there are people who feel it was 100% worth it.
Still.
There
Those
are.
people are no
Yeah, sure.
idiots.
Because in my mind, when I see everything that's happened, I say, surely there's no logical person out there who can see this and say, this is exactly what I signed up for. You
Right.
know, when I went in there and I voted for Biden, or I sent it in the mail, this is exactly what I was hoping 2022 would look like. This is great. This is perfect. We're right on schedule. I
Right
can't
on schedule.
imagine that anybody's thinking that. You'd have to imagine that a logical, sane person would be looking at this and saying, boy, that was a mistake. I immediately regret this decision.
Well,
That's
you
the
see, the
problem.
thing
There's not
is,
a lot of logical and sane people anymore.
well, we used to import our logic.
Mm.
Now we put a sanction on it.
Yeah, well, there's that too, Russ.
No more logic allowed here.
Twitter will drive you nuts, though, because if you watch Twitter and you hear people having this discussion, there are tons of people who say totally worth it as long as Trump's not in office.
Yeah, that's
and who
pretty
knows
much...
if those are real people, though, right? It could be bots. It could be one person with 10 different accounts who's trying to make it look like there are more people who are on that same page.
So you're saying it's
Which
Russ?
must be the case. Yeah, it's Russ.
Yeah.
Russ saying that he's just glad Trump's not in office.
Right. Thanks, Russ. Yeah.
DG says, well, the people who thought it was worth it, come fill up my gas tank, please.
Yeah, right. And really, it's going to get, it's going to get worse. Common theme here.
Okay, so
Indeed.
Jeremy gives us a little bit of a history lesson here. Some background says Ukraine in Russian means borderlands. That's why they call it the Ukraine.
Oh, all right. Well,
From
that
when it
makes
was
sense.
the Soviet Union.
Okay.
At least that was the reasoning I've heard, and why Ukrainians correct people who say the Ukraine.
Yeah. Thank God we have such a smart audience.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
Still
some
wanna
people
call
voted
it
that they
the
do
Russia.
call it the Ukraine.
Well, it makes sense now. That makes sense. There's some reason there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it certainly is.
Some logic.
For those of us just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. Was that good enough, Russ?
I don't even know how long the first segment actually was.
Okay, well, it's going to have to be good enough. I don't think we were able to keep an accurate clock on that one.
Yeah.
Russ, the producer, is in my ear giving me a hard time because I don't do enough
No, I'm
station
not.
identifications and break up the action over here. So just in case you live under a rock and you don't know what this voice is,
Mm-hmm.
That's
I feel
offensive.
sorry for those people, right, Billy Chris?
That's
I feel
right.
offensive
sorry
to
for
rock
people.
people.
I feel sorry for people who are tuning through their radio and don't recognize our voices
Right.
by now.
Or they don't know what station they're on.
Those poor lost souls.
If you're in your car right now and you're not sure what station you're tuned to, and you can't look over to the center console there, you're on 1180 WFYL, the Freedom Station.
Or if you're like Mike G in law school and everything you own is broken.
Well, that could be it. That could be it too. Yeah.
And you're not listening to anything.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
You're listening to your
sometimes
car
things half
ding at
work.
you with your
So
check
maybe the
engine
radio
light.
works, but the display doesn't work. So in
Right.
case your display is broken, driving around in a 1997 Ford Thunderbird that you bought at the junkyard,
There you go.
that would be so much fun to get another one of those and just trick it out, no?
Yeah. Everybody kind of wants to get their first car again. I'd love to get my first car again.
But sir, that was not my first car.
Oh, yeah. We did
that
do
was
this
the
one
nicer
there.
car. That was
That was the nicer
Oh,
one.
I was moving up in life at that point.
That's right.
I had a car that actually drove at that point.
It actually would work when you got in and turned it on. Very nice. Mm-hmm.
Rita says maybe we should drive around on a scooter. Gas prices are ridiculous.
Hey, more people are resorting to that. You see that more in the city now.
And of course, you hear a lot of people who don't want to acknowledge what's going on saying things like, oh, well, this is a good opportunity for us to protect the environment by carpooling and not
Well,
driving
that's-
places and staying home and making it a point to drive less. That shouldn't be a decision that's forced upon people, right?
Sure. Right. Right.
You don't want these types of circumstances to dictate that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, that's the next big crisis too. Now they're gonna.
it's also March here in the Northeast, and oil prices impact the way some people heat their homes, right? Okay,
Oh,
so I'm
yeah,
not
yeah, sure.
driving anywhere. I'm not going to drive anywhere. I'm just going to sit in my house and freeze to death now because the prices are so high.
Yeah, well, just heating your house is crazy these days. I know somebody who got, the highest bill they've ever had, and a lot of people are getting the highest bills ever, of course, right now. So,
Oil and gas folks are rolling around like Scrooge McDuck right now, right? When he dives into all the coins and everything.
yeah, right.
I guess he's stocked up on gold as per Philly Chris's. I don't want to call it a recommendation. What can you call it? It's not a suggestion. It's not a recommendation. Discussion.
Yeah.
Something that Philly Chris may have mentioned on the program at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Is that coming to fruition, Philly Chris? You only text me every 5 minutes about it. Hey, knucklehead, I told you.
Well, yeah, it has come to fruition within a few days of me mentioning it. What was it, three or 4 weeks ago on the air? It's gone up over 10%, while the market has gone down over 10%. So you're talking about... Your
prediction was that it was going to go up 30%. Is that correct?
Yeah, in the next several months. So it's already 10.
Okay,
10,
so there's still meat left on the bone in your...
Yeah, and the market went down about 10% respectively during that period of time. So it's a 20% differential, which is easily, about 3 years in the market almost. So basically...
Now, do you believe that the market will eventually correct itself?
I think eventually, but I think we are going to see some more downturns there. It's inevitable, I think, at this point, especially with all the money, quantitative easing, the stuff going on with Ukraine, the gas. I mean, things, prices are just getting started here with this inflation. Fertilizers through the roof right now. I was just looking at some of the economic indicators yesterday, so we could talk about them on the show. But, prices are going to go through the roof in the next few weeks and months, even compared to where they are now. It'll have to, because shipping costs are going through the roof on everything. The farmers are paying record prices for fertilizer, for nitrogen, and other things that go into the whole supply chain regarding farming and food. So yeah, it's gonna, we're just
so when they have
here.
To pay more for that,
yeah,
it impacts a whole lot of things, because now your zucchini, and when I say zucchini now, I mean zucchini.
That's right.
I don't mean the zucchini with a wink and a nod, the way we usually use the term zucchini.
Right. The real zucchini.
The real zucchini.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this.
Maybe we should have
now.
a code word for the real zucchini. So if we're talking about zucchini, we call it something else. But when we're talking about the other thing, we call it zucchini. What do you think?
The real zucchini. Yeah, we might have to modify that a little bit. What could we say?
I don't know.
Russ, you have any ideas there?
No.
No, okay, I figured as much.
No,
the cucumber's evil twin is the
zucchini. There we go. I like that. That's good.
Right?
So I have a question for Chris. Are we headed toward a recession or a depression, or both?
We've already had a pretty significant recession / the beginning of a depression. I think we're headed for another Great Depression. I think that's their goal.
Depression.
I think so.
What's so great about
unless things turn around, but Biden was asked again about the gas prices, and he kind of chuckled at the TV crew and said, "Oh yeah, it's going to keep going up. It's Putin's fault." So, and that's ridiculous, because I was looking at the supply of oil that we get from them, and it's about 7 to 10%. So, how can you say that the price increases we've seen are due to that small percentage of the total allocated oil that we import? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Plus, there's things they could do right now, like they could reduce the taxes. There's a pretty big portion, especially in states like here in Pennsylvania, California. Right, yeah, but they're not going to do that.
Why would we do that?
They'll print more money, print more money and give that out. So yeah, I think, I've said for a while now my thoughts on a lot of this being quote unquote by design, and
the government's so generous, right? With other people's money.
Sure. Yeah. And they're talking about
possibly happen.
Yeah, well, everybody can just go buy an electric vehicle too. Everybody can spend 50, 60 grand right now to buy a car that's being charged by coal being burnt to supply the electric chargers. That makes sense.
What's wrong with them? I legitimately remember that during the Obama administration, where they had the cash for clunkers thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where if you turned in your SUV, I forget exactly what the terms were, but I remember looking at it saying, this does me zero good, because I would have to have this amount of money in order to get something new that fits that criteria in the first place. And I don't have it.
Right. Sure. Yeah, everybody can just go buy a new car. And when they say these cars are zero emission, that's a joke. I mean, the amount of emissions that are put into the environment just from producing these factories that build the cars and then build the cars and then the electricity that's being used in the I mean, it's nothing zero emission. Come on.
Well, not only that,
you
but
know.
the amount of energy it takes to mine out lithium, because that's what these batteries are made of. They're made out of lithium.
And a lot of the supplies for these vehicles come from, guess where? China. We don't have the stuff.
No, Chris, you said it wrong. It's China.
China. Sorry about that. Thanks, Russ. You're right. I do apologize.
Why do you call it the China virus?
Remember that? Because it's from China, like everything else.
From China, right. Yeah.
So, what do you think is the least expensive electric vehicle on the market right now? By the way, Stacks Farmstead checking in. Give him a hey now.
Hey now, Stacks Farmstead. Hey now.
Hey now.
The least expensive one is the one you don't
Yeah, good time to have a
buy.
garden. Everybody's talking about gardening. Definitely good time.
What is the least expensive electric vehicle?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure. I guess it depends on whether or not you were looking at new or used. I mean, I guess new. The
Okay, so
Teslas
what's
are
a
still up
completely
there.
electric vehicle then?
So I do
That
have.
would be.
I
so,
did
but
some
a used
research on
Tesla.
this, guys. I did some
They're
research
still
on
up
this.
there. I mean, you're still going to spend 30, 40 grand probably on a used one.
I believe the cheapest one is actually the Nissan Leaf, and it's cheap because it also sucks. It has like 120 miles of range.
It's called
No.
a Leaf. It's called the Leaf. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah,
The
that's
Nissan
right.
Leaf.
Liberty.
Take a look.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a very
probably one of
cheap,
the-
very crappy wind-up car.
It's interesting
And-
because I just pulled up this website to try to look. They're only showing you the estimated monthly payment rather than the cost of the vehicle.
That's because the cost of the vehicle will disgust you so much you'll leave. You'll make like a Nissan and Leaf.
Thanks, Jeremy. That's a
Very-
good point. Jeremy.
Very well done, Russ.
Jeremy put a good comment in there about the oil stuff. So.
What do you say? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
Read out
he's right. There are some of the other countries are using more than we use, so that does affect the global market. So there's an impact there, but I just think that obviously, if we had somebody else in the White House who would attack this situation the way that Trump did or his administration did, we wouldn't have these prices.
It was already bad. Let's not pretend like it just
Yeah.
started.
Exactly, right. And it was already going up. So, and they want it to go up because they want to steer people to the electric, the EV market and
It
the
always
Green
has to
New
do with somebody's
Deal.
making money, right?
Yeah,
Somebody's
and they
making
are,
money.
and they're making a ton of money. The folks who are invested in these companies and getting kickbacks and whatever else is going on.
So what I'm seeing is the lowest price on CarMax is $42,000 for a Tesla.
Yeah, so everybody can do that pretty easily.
$42,000.
Right? Yeah, that's no
yeah,
problem.
but a Tesla isn't cheap to begin with, though.
Well, you can do that tomorrow, Russ. Go get a
So
couple
what else?
cash.
So you said Nissan Leaf is the cheapest one? Let's
yeah,
see what we could.
so I just Googled cheapest all-electric vehicle, and I got this website that has a 2022 Nissan Leaf for $28,000 with
That's
a
the cheapest one.
with a range of 237 miles.
Wow.
I don't know if this is actually the cheapest. Google has a history of, just correcting and giving you what you want to see. If you search for something by name, sometimes it'll give you other results. It's really annoying. I think I'm going to switch to DuckDuckGo.
2016 Nissan Leaf S hatchback. 17,990. 16,990 over here. Let's see if we could sort this.
It's not too bad.
What do you mean?
What
do you mean that's not too
compared
bad?
to
It's a $17,000 car. Most
still a
of the
lot,
people
yeah.
that
I mean,
grew up
compared
with-
to a new Tesla or something.
most of the people I grew up around never ever in their entire lives owned a $17,000 car.
True.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember growing up, the guy who had a $10,000 car was like, wow, that guy's no
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
$10,000
No, cars are
was
not cheap
probably
anymore.
worth a lot more.
Sure. Well, certainly.
It was probably worth
Still.
about $20,000.
I don't know about double. It's gone double since I was a kid. I'm not that old.
I don't know.
Although the used car market is high right now
Is
because of what's been going on. Yeah, supply chain issues.
There's
and
nothing available.
Oh yeah, my car
Yeah.
doubled in value since the
What
pandemic.
do you mean?
I mean, it was once like
yeah, the used cars are. through
it
the
was
roof right
once like $3,000, and now it's worth like $6,000.
Wow.
Inventory is very low. Multiple dealerships have told me that.
now. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with parts being less available and new cars cost more. The supply chain stuff jacked all that up, and inflation too.
So what else is in the works over here? Comments are going gangbusters.
Yeah, we got some good comments there. Always
Having
good comments.
a hard time keeping up over here.
Our wonderful audience.
Stacks Farm says his copper parts and copper in general will be in short supply. There's a lot of copper in Teslas. Lithium will also rise in price significantly.
Yeah, all the metals are up right now. Pretty much all the metals.
So whatever
silver's up.
So whatever the
Gold.
price is now, it's just going to go even higher. So I don't know. Maybe now is the time to get an electric vehicle if you actually care to buy one.
Yeah, copper's at a high.
Because, I mean, vehicles, there are some vehicles like trucks. Trucks are worth more now than what they were like 2 years ago. So if you bought one 2 years ago, you probably haven't lost any value in it.
No, it's an interesting market.
You've essentially been renting.
Yeah, used cars are through the roof right now. Cars in general. And they are in shorter supply. So, but it's not like everybody can, obviously for all the reasons we just mentioned, but also there's not enough electric cars for everybody anyway. So,
Well,
not like they're
not only that, but the thing is, even if
and
everybody
the charging stations.
Even if everybody was just given a Tesla right this second, the power grid couldn't handle charging everyone's Tesla.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
we would just
charging
fall
stations.
apart.
Yeah.
So
Stacks Farm says there's short supply on semiconductors, mostly made in Taiwan. Now, Philly Chris, we were talking about this a little bit last week. Do you think that what we're seeing happen between Russia and Ukraine will eventually happen between China and Taiwan?
I'm pretty sure they're eyeing them up right now, and they're kind of looking at them like, hey,
seeing what the response is.
Yeah, I think it's more likely now than it ever has been. Sure. And China and Russia are buddy right now with everything going on. China even came out and said they still have Putin's back, with what's going on in Ukraine. So it wouldn't shock me if they made a move. Why wouldn't they right now do it? And they see the way Biden is responding to Putin, and Putin just keeps backing him into a corner. They were supposed to be sending some military jets over to Europe there a few days ago. The Pentagon even said it was okay to do that. And then, of course, Biden backed out of that once Putin put pressure on him. So he's responding to, whatever Putin says. It's very interesting to see, which, again, makes me question the whole reason why this is happening.
In World War II, was the general consensus not that sort of laying back and not poking the bear to make Hitler even more angry and do even worse things? Isn't that the general consensus among the foreign policy community, that was a big mistake and it got to where it was?
Sure.
Because of that to some degree, and had they approached that differently, the outcome could have been better. Not to say that the world would have come out unscathed, but that was a mistake.
Sure. Yeah, I think, I believe you're right, Mike. And I think, that same mistake is being repeated in a lot of ways, although I think at this point they're basically just giving, Ukraine to Putin, and eventually I think he'll take over Ukraine at this pace. And with what I'm seeing on the news reported, depending on what's accurate, there's so much misinformation right now too, and there's all kinds of quote unquote conspiracy theorist stuff going on regarding Ukraine as well. So it's hard to say really what's real or not, but we've encountered that for the past few years here, of course, with the pandemic and other things that have transpired even here at home. So
sure.
Yeah.
Stacks Farm says his power supply is mostly made in coal-fired power plants, so not really saving the environment.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That is a good point. The people think that when you use electricity, it just comes out of the wall, and that's where it comes from.
It's free,
That's got to come from somewhere. The coal power plant, or sometimes natural gas, right?
Yeah. Nothing to see here.
It just comes out of the wall. That's all.
Yeah, there was that one.
And what about the batteries? The battery's not an environmental issue.
No, I believe they are. Yeah, when you go to recycle those things, there's some pretty nasty stuff in those batteries, the lithium ion and lithium polymer, the different materials in there. Certainly not that environmentally friendly, and they have a certain lifespan, and they're very expensive. I know the Tesla batteries are over $20,000 to
Wow.
replace. So
Wow.
there's that. At least if you
Incredible.
maintain your combustion engine, you can go for hundreds of thousands of miles. I mean, of course, there's problems there too, but you're generally not looking at 20 grand to replace a motor.
No,
Now,
you're
have
just
you heard
looking at
about this
4.
mercenary group that went out to Ukraine? And they're apparently in this social media battle with Russian mercenaries.
I heard something about mercenaries, but I didn't hear about the social media thing.
Yeah, they're posting on social media. Oh, you want to fight? Then here's where we are.
Oh, really? Really?
Come find us, sort of thing.
I heard some of the Russians were putting themselves on some of the dating websites. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Yeah, Mike, I was checking the Instagram and Carl had sent some information on that. So I did forward it to the text thread
Okay.
about the group of American volunteers, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. What are they called? Why don't you fill us in?
Oh, I don't know. I was trying to figure it out. It's a Russian private military contracting group called Wagner is currently trying to hunt them down. Group of American volunteers. Okay, many of them former U.S. Special Forces fighting Russians in Unlearned. They go by the, quote, Forward Observations Group. The Forward Observations Group. And a Russian private military is trying to hunt them down.
They're trying to hunt each other down, it looks like.
sounds like a great way to do an ambush, though.
He's an African American man, but the leftist Russian supporting media is saying he's a white supremacist and a neo-Nazi. And a post by one of the Forward Observations groups saying they're making a hit list of Russian special forces mercenaries to hunt.
Really?
An African American white supremacist?
Yeah, there's a lot of those now, apparently. They're everywhere.
That's why he said, let's see here.
Yeah, Trump was asked about that the other day, about being called a white supremacist and a racist and all that. He had a pretty good response.
So they're in a battle with Wagner, and they posted a picture saying F Wagner. That's subtle.
Yeah, right.
You think these kinds of operations and feuds back and forth have been going on over there since the beginning?
Sounds like it.
I wonder if there's anything that's going on behind the scenes, sort of covert things that we're not
I would
hearing
imagine.
about front and center on the news, right?
Yeah.
Like aside
it's
from
pretty easy to get
a
messages.
full-scale military operation that's on the radar and reported.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if, for all we know, we could be there in some capacity right now. Isn't that true?
Giving them intel. And there have been reports of some of these convoys being attacked from things in the sky that, some sort of drones probably with some advanced weaponry that apparently look like lightning. So some sort of electrical discharges, whatever that was.
Really?
Yeah.
How about your boy is trying to provide internet, no?
What's that?
Elon Musk is trying to
Oh,
provide
yeah,
internet
that
over
was
there,
interesting.
Starlink.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
Starlink satellites out there.
Yeah, so
Right.
tell us a little bit about that. Who wants to take the ball on that one? Liberty or Philly Chris?
Philly Chris can take the.
All right, guys, Philly Chris.
All I know is that he sent it out there, but I think unfortunately they're having some connection issues now because they're really hitting it hard out there with the bombings.
Right. Yeah, I believe the Ukrainian president there did ask specifically to see if Elon could intervene, and he did allocate some of the Starlink resources specifically to Ukraine, and even sent over some of those receivers that we've talked about on the show. They're like the size of a pizza box, is my understanding, so they can set those up in remote locations and still have high bandwidth internet through the Starlink satellites that are up there and operational. So that was interesting that he did that, since Russia was shutting them down and causing havoc
and
with their.
especially because people on Twitter were always giving him giving him oh geez, I don't know another word than crap. they're, they're, they're always attacking him because they're like, oh, you have all this money, do more.
Yeah. Well, he
And
can't win, it seems.
out,
Yeah.
he tweeted out and said, I literally sent
Right.
it over there. Like, he's like, I'm doing my part. Like, but
Sure.
gosh, the guy can't win,
Well, then they were giving him heat because he wasn't blocking the Russian content, but he said, listen, I'm for free speech. So, which I agree with. I mean, whatever, just let it through, and then people can make up their own decisions. We've seen so much censoring here, and I've had enough of that myself personally, as I'm sure we all have. But so.
Now, I want to know from our listeners, what have you noticed is going up in price? Uh-oh. I'm getting buffering again on the comments over here.
Yeah, I thought I saw something, and they were having a rough night with the technology. We need Elon to give us some Starlink equipment.
I did want to, at some
point,
done? About the whole false flag.
Hold on. Are we done? What's going on here? Are we? The stream dropped off.
It's acting up again.
Is it?
Yeah.
Any idea what's causing it?
I have no idea.
This could be something with tonight, connectivity with tonight.
I don't know.
So,
Russ, did you go from a new location today? You think maybe it's just
no? I defaulted back to the garage because this new setup wasn't ready, and it's a good thing because all these problems would probably be blamed on the new setup.
Right.
So should I just cut off this stream and I'll just hang out in the comments?
CB's telling everybody he went back into the other chat and he said, "Hey, everybody, check it out. Mike D's going live elsewhere." So we'll see if people start to migrate over to
see the comments coming through. Thanks, CB.
So Russ, going there. That Philly Chris can talk into Mike's ear. Okay.
Well, yeah, Chris is going to talk into my ear, and I can sort of translate to a degree and tell everybody what he's saying.
I'll say everything in Russian so you can translate it.
Stack said, tuned in to this one. Jeremy says, producer Mike G. It's like that that movie Major League where Serrano keeps asking Joe Boo for help, and Joe Boo doesn't help him. He's in a slump, and he says, there we go. I spoke too soon, right? I spoke too soon.
I wish I would have seen that on the other stream.
Well,
CB
Mike's
says,
always got a backup
plan. I'm going to have to take over next week. I think Russell is out of the job. Officially.
Jeez, you guys.
So CB.
Good night, Rita.
We'll do our interview, CB. Show up in a suit and tie. And be prepared to answer questions, and we'll get you squared away. I'll tell you what. CB has done a tremendous amount. Rita is going to call at night. She said, we'll see you next week. If anybody else is sticking around, you can check out this live stream we've got going here. Oh, CB says Russ doesn't have to be fired. He'll work beside you, Russ.
All right, very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
So it'll become a team.
Teamwork.
So if anybody else comes on here, what I want to see, I'm able to see the comments pop up while I'm doing this. And I'll be able to respond to any questions that anybody has, any comments that people have. What I do want to know, my main question is there anything that you're noticing in particular that is rising in price? Something that you're using in your everyday life? I'd imagine that not everybody who listens to the program is using fertilizer on a regular basis, or something like copper that Stacks Farmstead mentioned, and some of these other materials that we know that it's going to negatively impact our life because the prices are rising. But is there anything that you're seeing, as in things that you need to get from the grocery store or from whatever store, and the price is just through the roof and it's impacting your everyday life, essentially? Is there anything that you're seeing on that front? And if you are, let us know in the comments.
Looks like we just lost Mike on the Skype feed.
So what else?
No.
Mike?
I'm here. Okay. We're not still
there
on the other YouTube, right? I'm not on two at once, am I?
You kind of are. I said, I asked if I should cut this off, and you're like, nah, keep it on.
That way you can hear Philly Chris in your ear. There's no other way to do it.
But you don't have to do that live.
Yeah,
I
he
can
could
hear
just
him
keep.
I
pressing
know.
that
That's
button.
why I was
What?
confused.